Hey guys, it's Eric with the Miller Park Men, where we're throwing strikes and getting likes, hitting dingers, and getting listeners. If you are coming in from the previous show, we just wrapped the wrestling show. Now we are moving on to the baseball hour. Uh, Thank you for joining us. If you're joining us for both shows, that is a new feature of the channel. That is something new we are doing. You are in the chaos of my studio right now. It's in the major overhaul mode right now. Just everything needs to get cleaned out. It's that time of year. It's winter and we got nothing going on. So if you are here and this is the Brewers side, we are talking Brewers like we like to do, throwing strikes, getting likes, hitting dingers, and getting listeners. We are on the audio platforms. We've got YouTube, Spotify, Google, Amazon, Castbox, iHeartRadio, Pocket Cast, Radio Public, Apple Podcasts. We got TikTok. We got the Instagram. We'll be putting up reels later this week. Guys, we've got content coming every angle coming forward. Got some guests cooking. And we do lives every night, typically 9:30, 10 o'clock. This one's pushed back due to the fact that Monday Night Raw was on tonight. So I do a live podcast after Monday Night Raw. That being said, come back, subscribe, go visit us over on Patreon if you want to support the channel. Miller Park Minute over there on Patreon. You can use the SeatGeek code Miller Park Minute to get $20 off your first purchase with SeatGeek. All right, we got that all out of the way. Let's talk Brewers tonight. Oop. Got a little aggressive there. All right, so tonight's title episode is talking about where the payroll stands with 1 month left. We are 1 month away from pitchers and catchers reporting. They are still working out the arbitration figures. We talked about that. The only one not figured out is William Contreras. It'll probably go to a hearing. We'll have something before the season, I am sure. And that's exactly where this Milwaukee Journal article picks up. It says, with arbitration mostly settled, at the moment, the Brewers are looking at $108.8 million in 2025 payroll for the opening day roster. This is slightly elevated from last season. 104.3 was last year's. In 2023, the Brewers opened with 118.8. The year prior, it was a franchise record of 130.19. Since the Brewers' playoff runs and appearances in 2018, they have made it each year, but one since the average opening day payroll was $111.3 million, according to COTS. Currently, Milwaukee Brewers rank 21st in MLB in 2025 for payroll. And then here's the contract breakouts. So this is where you get the nitty gritty. I'm going to read through it first, then we'll discuss after. Okay, so Christian Yelich, $22 million, $4 million deferred from 26. So it's supposed to be 26. He's got $4 million deferred. Players like to do that. We know all about that with the Shohei Ohtani contract from last year. Okay, Rhys Hoskins, $18 million. Freddie Peralta, $8 million. Brandon Woodruff, $5 million. Jackson Trio, $4.25 in his second full season as a Brewer. Aaron Ashby, $3.45. Again, he was extended. A lot of people forget about that because he's been injured, but he was extended too. Aaron Savali, we owe $8 million. Nestor is $7.6. Remember, the Yankees gave us a little bit to eat part of that contract. William Contreras, projected 5.6, filed for 6.5. Joel Payamps, 2.9. Trevor McGill, 1.9. Eric Haas, 1.35. Nick Mears, 963. 13 Brewers in the pre-arbitration process, $9.9 million. Total in their league minimum salary. So a lot of those players are making league minimum buyouts. They owe Gary Sanchez $4 million, Frankie Montas $2 million, Colin Ray $1 million, Wade Miley 1.5, Devin Williams 250,000. The Brewers are paying Ryan Braun $2 million in deferred each year, all the way up through 2031. Lorenzo Cain receives $1 million in annual payments 2023 through 2027. I at one point heard Aramis Ramirez was still on the payroll, but that maybe that finished. So, knowing all those numbers, the next part of this article goes into kind of the reasonings why and where we're justifying why we are where we are. It goes without saying the TV thing has been big talk for multiple years, and at this point, we don't really have a resolution. We've got Bally's rebrand for another year. FanDuel Sports is not a new network. It's Diamond added a new. Basically, they got in the game. FanDuel took over the Bally name. They have their contracts, or several of their contracts. The Brewers opted to stay in that, so they didn't have to build the infrastructure to create a new system. All the TV broadcasters stay the same. They technically stay with the Brewers. They're like independent contractors. So not a lot has changed in that way of things. It's still going to be the same app, same subscription. Depending on when you bought it, you might actually still get, I don't know. I think I subscribed at the beginning season, so I don't think I'm going to get any extra time. I might have some Bucks games that I can watch. I'm not even sure. But that's really the meat and potatoes. And if you go into this article, it says the team's TV contract situation isn't exactly helping matters this offseason. The Brewers had announced that they were going to produce and distribute their own games through MLB on direct-to-consumer availability, but recently reversed course and signed on for a cable deal with FanDuel Sports Network. Okay, so that's kind of misleading because that's not exactly what FanDuel Sports Network is. It isn't a new thing. It's the same thing. Even without the murkiness for 2025, the Brewers would still be operating at a major disadvantage in terms of TV contract revenue. The club's previous contract, which was based upon market size, entitled them to only 10% of the TV market generated by the Dodgers, the sport's richest club in terms of TV contract. On the other hand, the Brewers are also coming off a record revenue and are still receiving money from the revenue sharing as well as league's national TV deals. MLB earns $1.5 billion annually from these contracts. The answer to the question, though, ultimately comes down to the Brewers' ownership. There remains a healthy handful of potential impact players on the free agent market late into the offseason, which is often when the Brewers strike. And we said that. We said that over and over again. Lorenzo Cain and Christian Yelich have both been like right before the Brewers on deck ads. But as our lovely source, the Journal Sentinel, has told us, that the TV contract situation is the problem. It is exactly the problem. None of these numbers are anything extraordinary. I mean, the highest paid player on our club is Christian Yelich, and that's $26 million. ARB eligible players are making about that, and that's 1, 2, 3, 7 guys. 7 guys. So that's one player. The next highest is Reese, for Reese's level of talent. That makes sense. But that leaves room to think that they could add another player. Will they add another contract? Probably not. But it needs to be done. Something needs to be done. Mark Antanasio needs to realize that, we're coming out in groves year after year to see this club, to see the Brewers play baseball, and we want to see a winner. We want to see good names. We want to have somebody to buy some merch for. Jackson Churio is great, but we also want additional talent. Brewers 2024 attendance. I want to see what 2024's attendance was. They always make it seem like it's such a big number, so let's actually look. Generating results. So the Brewers had a regular season home attendance of 2,537,202 in 2024, which is slightly decreased. The average attendance was 31,000. So it went down. It went down year over year. But the economy was worse too. So I don't know. I guess here it says, now this is the AI generated answer. So I'm not saying this is 100%. The Brewers attendance in 2024 was ninth out of 15 teams in Major League Baseball. The Brewers attendance in 2024 slightly down when they had 31,000 per. It was down from pre-pandemic levels. Has no desire to improve the club. If club, what does it say? If there's money attached to it, yeah. No, and rude bets. I can't agree more with you, bud. He doesn't want to spend the money. I mean, this thing has gone up in value year over year. They've been a everyday player in postseason talks in the league, and they don't want to spend the money. Which, as I said, you guys spend money to make money. I think every comment around when I've said that, everybody who's messaged me, who's talked to me since then, has agreed with me. So I can't disagree, and I can't say that we shouldn't be spending the money. I will never make that argument. Yeah, and that's exactly the truth. We aren't asking for the $300 million contract. We didn't want them to bring back Corbin Burns at $300 million or $210. I would have been okay if they just signed Willie at the contract they got. I don't know how you feel about that, but if Willie would have stayed on the club at the contract he's got, I mean, we would have been bringing back one hell of a ball club. And I know that's some people, that's a lover hate take, because Willie Adames was one of those lover hate players for people. But I'm just seeing if there's 2024 Major League Baseball games were attended just over 71 million. In 2024, the regular home attendance amounted to 2.54 million. This constitutes a slight decrease from 2.55. Okay, so even a guy like Teoscar Hernandez, 3 years, 66 million, a perfect guy. We need power. Teoscar is a great player, and the Dodgers aren't afraid to sign a guy that's got some skills. So when you look at that, that is exactly the kind of thing. There's Ha-Seong Kim is another one that Talking Baseball was talking about today, and yeah, he's got a slight injury. Sorry, feed froze. But yeah, so for the Brewers to sign somebody like Ha-Seong Kim, or even just we don't need it. like the A-level top guy. You know, we're not looking to go out there and get Jack Flaherty. We're not looking to go out there and get the Japanese guy, Roki. We're not looking to get that. I mean, I think it would be cool to get that guy, but at the end of the day, he's going to demand a lot more out of the international signing pool, which we just don't have to spend. I guess I don't understand how much money is actually sitting in that. I don't really know where to look or where to generate that from, but yeah. As far as that goes, I think it's like just the wait and see approach is not something that the Brewers need to be doing at this juncture. They need to be more aggressively seeking out these answers. Don't embarrass yourself. Oh, my guys over at the Barrel Banter had a new pod today. That was pretty good. They were talking about what to expect for the season, talking about players like Abner Ube, just their overall expectations. I look forward to talking to them again real soon. Me and David always have a little bit of banter back and forth. Get it, the Barrel Banter. He's a good baseball mind. He does some good stuff. So I did not listen to anybody besides talking baseball today. There just wasn't any. There's not a lot of content out there right now. That's why I'm struggling to come up with episodes. And you see these breaks in the show. It really comes down to the lack of stuff put out right now. We're just in that lull period where the NFL playoffs are going on. People aren't too hot on baseball. And there's really no free agency moves, like nothing. And I mean nothing is happening if you go over to trade rumors. Like it's like this guy that's a pitcher that you haven't heard of is signing with such and such, and it's like, okay, and then you go into like the fan base, and I work for one of the fan based pages, so I'm not going to diss them, but I'm saying like those guys just kind of propose stuff, not based off of any rumblings or anything they hear. They just propose what they think would be cool. And you can take those with a grain of salt. Some are good, some are bad. Yeah, it's all minor. Roki Suzaki. That's going to be the watch right now. That's the big watch. Roki Suzaki is what we are going to see. It says here, Sasaki is likely therefore decided based on factors beyond money. After all, if money was top priority, he probably would have waited until he turned 25. Because when they come over when they're younger, they don't make all the money. Like Yoshinobu Yamamoto last year came over and got a $325 million deal from from the Dodgers. Sorry, Yankees, Dodgers. Teams that make a lot of money. So that's really the thing to watch right now. I did come across a good one today. It was a TikTok video, and I'm just going to share this little nugget with you because I think this is great. So if you were to think of the top losing franchise overall, top losing franchises overall, what would you name? Would you say the Brewers are in that or not? The answer might shock you. So this is the top 7 worst winning percentages for MLB franchises. The worst team is the Marlins at a .459, followed by the Rockies at a .462, followed by the Padres at a .462. Then we go to the Phillies 0.474. The Orioles at 0.475. The Rangers at 0.476. And then the Royals. So we do not fall in the top 7 worst winning percentages of an MLB franchise. That right there is a nugget of great information. That's something to write home about as a Brewers fan. You can't beat those type of statistics. Those are the kind that we all love. And that's why I had to share that one with you. And as far as anything else goes for tonight, guys, I think I've kind of wrapped it. Cubs fans are whining about Colin Ray on X. It's kind of funny. I just, I find it funny when people complain about other players. Now to do championships, though. Yeah, we don't have championships. I know. Rude Bats, I appreciate you, man. I appreciate you putting some comments down. It's always good to get some live activity. Come in live, guys. Talk to me live. I appreciate when people come chat live in the comments. It's fun. It makes it more fun, especially when doing podcasts live on the air. Join me on X, Miller Minute on X. I'm also live on Rumble and Facebook as well. The Facebook group is Miller Park Minute and the Milwaukee Brewers, or Miller Park Minute and Milwaukee Brewers. We have dropped the this season, but I keep somehow saying the Miller Park Minute. It's just force of habit, unfortunately. My question for the group, and I'm gonna complete the topic with this today, and this will be my final stand. I'm gonna say that I want this Durbin character to be the third baseman. I want Joey Ortiz to go to short, and I want Bryce Turning to stay at second. Now, the reason I say that is because I believe he's got our best shot. If you look at his performance at top level minor league baseball last year, he performed, and he's better than what we have. I mean, Jesus needs time. I've mentioned his name so many times, but there's other guys that are in line in the shortstop ranks. And I think we just need to let those guys play out and give them their time. It worked for Bryce Turang. He was down for forever, and he was talked about for years. So let's let these guys cook down in the minors. Let's use Caleb Durbin, who's already got some proven success at the upper levels of the minors. And if they can squeeze a trade, I'm assuming by saying this that they are not squeezing a trade for a third baseman or a shortstop or signing one of those positions either. But that's where I stand. I think Caleb Durbin. And see where they fit. If you got to shuffle them around, if Bryce goes to shortstop, whatever, make it work. Shortstops are a plentiful thing. Hearing Durbin named makes my blood boil. We are going to get no offensive production from the infield, and it breaks my heart. Yeah, that's the problem. He's not a power hitting bat. We don't have any power hitting bat. You don't like. Okay, hold on. We're gonna go there. So you don't like what Nestor Cortez has to offer, or you just don't like the fact that we lost him? Explain. Do tell. I personally think Devin Williams was a cancer. I think he was great. but we didn't have him for a good part of the season last year, and we still made it to where we made it to, first round exit, which we're good at. But the positives here is you're adding another starter, which in certain areas we were weak last year. Yeah, he's a rental. But Devin Williams essentially was a rental too. Now, the Brewers have this ability to manufacture closers. We've got 1 to 2 closers already sitting there. If you look at Abner Uribe as a closer, which he did play that role a little bit, I think that potentially we've got a shot to have maybe a closer for part of the season and somebody next in line. You know what I mean? So we're stacking at that point. Plus, you've got long relief of Aaron Ashby. Plus starter potential there. You've got a guy that could come up in and out of the bullpen in Nestor Cortez. Plus, he could be a starter. And then we've got the depth of Freddie Peralta, DL Hall, Brandon Woodruff, Savali. You've got a lot of depth in the rotation and in the bullpen. And as we've seen with the Brewers year in and year out, they do very well with the management of the bullpen, using the right arms. Okay, fair enough. He just said we chose to get another 5'6" hitter with 0 power. Yeah, I agree. I mean, I think that was a bad move, and they didn't grab something that could hit better. And you can't tell me there's not somebody in the Yankees organization that can hit better. When you've got one power hitting guy coming up, and it was the same with you look at, we traded Weimer, but if you look at Weimer, Weimer was not that great with the bat. Sal Frelick's not that great with the bat. Garrett Mitchell is supposed to be a 5-tool player, but he has yet to show us that. And I said that in my predictions video. If you go back for the 25 and 25, I said that like he needs to show us something. Christian Yelich, cross our fingers, is fully healthy and going to deliver a little bit more power and a little bit more hitting for a full season. Cross our fingers on that one, right, guys? I mean, Christian, it's the controversial, always a topic. Christian Yelich is back. Christian Yelich proved what he could be before he got hurt last year. And we just got to keep it rolling. So, you believe it was a power play by the Yankees? He was sold to us as a starting second baseman, not worth a damn. Had one good fall league run. Yeah, and I agree. I mean, he did have some ties to the Fond du Lac Duck Spiders, which are near and dear to my heart. If you've watched my show, I am from the city of Fond du Lac. I do go see the Duck Spiders with my son, so we'll tie there. But yes, I agree. I do agree. And then they kind of kicked us some money to make the deal look better. So I get it. I see what you're saying. I love it. Pessimist. I love pessimists just like me. One of my favorite sayings, rude bets, is prospects are prospects. Meaning they could either be really good or oh my God, you are dead nuts on. Make sure you subscribe. Come back, man. Follow me on Twitter. I do this all the time. Come and join these live shows. The thing with prospects is they can either be great or they can be a bust. I said it yesterday when they talked about the fact that Jackson Churio could be a Hall of Famer. We've watched him play for one season. Let's not give the guy the keys. Let's not give him the keys to the city and the keys to the United States already. It's one season. I mean, he wasn't the most miraculous player in all of MLB. He wasn't a starting pitcher and a hitter in the same season. He didn't go 50-50. You know, there was nothing extraordinary about Jackson Churio last year. He was really good. But he also had that period of not being good. And you're going to say, Eric, you're being way too hard. You're also saying he's going to go be a Hall of Famer after one season. If he was going to be a Hall of Famer after one season, there would have been no slump in the middle or slump in the beginning. Same thing happened to Jackson Holliday. He came up and stunk. And they're not saying Jackson Holliday's a Hall of Famer. Don't give somebody don't devalue the Hall of Fame. That's like calling the World Series trophy a piece of metal. That's my soapbox. I can't see it. I can't see it until you prove something. Show me something. Show me the money. That felt good. That felt good to get that off my chest. I'm not gonna lie. But yeah. Jackson Churio. I hope he's great. I really do, but don't award him that before the season even starts. Before he starts season 2, he could get injured. There's so much that can happen to a major leaguer. There's so much that happened to a top prospect. Paul Skeens. Paul Skeens could fall flat on his face. He could have 5 Tommy Johns. I don't know if that someone actually can have 5 Tommy Johns, but I mean, you know what I mean? Like, you don't know. I mean, Paul Skeens was great. He was a rookie of the year. Awesome pitcher. I'm sure every organization wants 5 of him. If he goes unhurt, he's going to net one hell of a contract from the New York Yankees or the Los Angeles Dodgers. But that's best case scenario. Typically, a guy becomes an average player and gets average money. Same with William Contreras. He's great. He is probably one of the best catchers in the game. MLB Network will probably don him that. Speaking of MLB Network, did they do a... I want to see if they did their top 10 right now. This week yet. Let's look. They do a top 10 right now for every position. You guys know this. Top 10 players right now. Here we go. Okay, so Tuesday the 14th. So tomorrow they're going to do starting pitchers. So we'll learn who's the top 10 right now starting pitchers. Be interesting to see if a Brewer falls on that list. I don't have MLB Network, so I'll have to watch the highlights on Twitter or whatever. But that being said, guys, this is really all I have for tonight. I soapboxed for you a little. We talked a little money. We talked a little about Mark Antoniozzi's cheapness, which is an ongoing theme. And there's been video after video, but until he stops proving himself as cheap, we're going to talk about it every time. Especially when it comes to payroll, especially when it comes to net worth. And I'm not going to accept the poverty franchise. I will never accept that excuse. I will never accept small market. They put 2.54 million butts in seats last year. That's how many hot dogs. That's how many beers. That's how much revenue did they actually make. And if you're going to tell me they operated at a loss, you're wrong. No business operates at a loss, especially year over year. There's a guy out there on Facebook that tells me every year that they operate at a loss every year. That's not true. No business would do that. They would be not in the game of baseball if they're operating at a loss and not making any money. All right. That is literally all I've got tonight. Guys, it's been fun. If you caught the Raw episode, thank you. If you're just joining me for the baseball, thank you for that. We will be back again tomorrow, probably at a little earlier time, probably right around 9 o'clock. So thank you guys for watching the Miller Park Minute. As always, go Brewers. This is the Miller Park Minute where we throw strikes and get likes, hit dingers and get listeners. Thank you guys. Thank you so much. Come back. Subscribe on YouTube. We will be doing this all season long. You guys have a great rest of your night and or day if you're watching the replay of this. Thank you.
Thank you for watching the Miller Park Minute. Go Brewers.